Positive news about the German economy is currently scarce. Industrial production in the country unfortunately declined for the third consecutive month in July, and this development heightened expected concerns of a prolonged economic downturn in the country that's been Europe's largest economy for quite some time. Currently, companies in Germany are having to deal with various challenges like high energy prices, sluggish global demand, and the need to catch up with competitors who are now setting new benchmarks. What do all these signify in relation to Germany's economic growth? Let's get into the video and talk about it. Now, within Germany's car or transportation sector, as one might say, there's a new term that's been running riot called China speed. It's a term that reflects the urgency Germany feels in keeping pace with the rapid advancements of the Chinese car industry, particularly in the electric vehicle sector, where China has become a dominant force. At this year's IAA, or International Mobility Show, there were no less than 7 Chinese electric vehicle brands on display, and even the traditional admirers of German cars, middle-aged and older German men who regularly attend auto shows in Munich, were seen showing interest in foreign competitors at the event. Apparently, the current state of things is that many Germans would on any given day consider buying a Chinese electric car compared to a Mercedes with a combustion engine or a Volkswagen. Because to them, electric cars offer clear advantages and even excel in pricing, far above German car brands. It's a fact that has changed the landscape of profitability for German car makers home and abroad. For instance, this year, the all-electric Chinese car manufacturer BYD surpassed Volkswagen as China's top-selling brand. And in Germany, the automotive industry experienced a 3.5% contraction in June compared to the previous month, contributing to a 1.5% decline in German industrial production during the same period. All these add up to the fact that currently China boasts the world's largest electric car market and is making significant technological strides in electric vehicle manufacturing, just as Europe is transitioning toward electric mobility. It's also the reason why Chinese automakers view Europe as a growth market and a platform to establish their presence alongside established brands. Now, in taking care of the economic downturns Germany has faced recently, the government is taking action to address production concerns in the country. For instance, the government recently approved €32 billion in corporate tax cuts over 4 years to stimulate production in Europe's largest economy. Also, plans have been announced to significantly expand electric vehicle charging infrastructure nationwide, and there are also proposals to streamline bureaucratic processes for businesses. These measures are, of course, all well and good, but in a country where 80% of companies still use fax machines, it remains uncertain whether German automakers can ever match China's speed. In further analysing this issue, Holger Schmieding, chief economist at Berenberg Bank, mentioned in a recent interview that there is indeed some resemblance between the situation of Germany's car manufacturers and the broader German economy. Both were once highly innovative but now appear complacent and hindered by their complex procedures. How, you ask? Well, Germany as a whole enjoyed a prosperous decade from 2010 onwards, and it's believed that this success led to some degree of complacency in terms of economic policy and within certain sectors. But the issues in the automotive sector are somewhat unique, because when China poured substantial resources into this sector, they basically purchased a technological advantage in electric mobility at a considerable cost of other missed opportunities. And with China's investments in the automotive sector, they demonstrated that market share can be bought, but it usually comes at a high price that could leave a government with excessive domestic debt. China's current domestic debt is a good example of this, and as we can see, German car manufacturers are the ones bearing the brunt of it. So, while other sectors in Germany may experience fewer troubles, it's well established that its energy-intensive sectors tell a different story. Also, let's even consider the bigger picture here. Several concerning trends have emerged in the German economy, including declining industrial output, challenges in construction, and reduced private consumption. Now, which of these concerns would you say is the most severe and worrisome? We presently believe that the most pressing concern is the decline in industrial output. And the reason for this is that Germany relies heavily on its industrial sector, particularly on exports to global markets. We are currently witnessing a sharp downturn in global manufacturing, with numerous industrial companies voicing concerns about various issues, besides high energy costs and the others already mentioned in this video. but the question remains, how can these issues be addressed effectively? Different suggestions have expectedly been made by some in the German government, like suggestions that the state should temporarily subsidize energy for large industrial firms. However, we believe three things. First is that even though high energy costs do pose a significant challenge for Germany, it is not a problem unique to Germany. It's essentially a European issue when compared to regions like the US and other parts of the world. In fact, some European countries like Italy, Greece and Hungary have even higher industrial energy prices than Germany. So while Germany energy prices are high, they aren't exactly the highest. Secondly, even if we're looking at the argument that following Putin's actions in Ukraine, these prices have risen significantly, leading energy-intensive industries to consider relocating or leaving, we believe it still doesn't necessarily mean a permanent loss of capacity, because Germany still has a significant labour shortage, which means that those who may no longer find employment in certain sectors will likely find opportunities in other industries or services once the current economic downturn subsides. Now, third, rather than put out specific subsidies for energy-intensive industries, how about the government try to alleviate the energy cost burden for all companies, including middle-sized businesses that form the backbone of the German economy? Supporting middle-sized companies in managing energy costs can have a positive ripple effect on Germany's overall economic health compared to what they'd get with energy-intensive industries enjoying that kind of support only. It's the best possible initiative on the table, unless we're missing something here. Now, if we shift our focus for a moment, remember we mentioned earlier that there had been proposals by the current government to reduce bureaucratic hurdles with various initiatives and legal changes in recent years. Yeah, the progress on that has been pretty slow too, making economists more and more doubtful that substantial changes will occur regarding bureaucracy in Germany. On the other side of the argument though, there are economists who believe that addressing bureaucracy is unfortunately a gradual process, so with time there will actually be some improvements, and they believe the same can be said for the economic downturns Germany has been facing as a nation. To these economists, Germany's economy is highly cyclical due to its strong dependence on the global market. In essence, Germany is accustomed to significant downturns, more so than many other European countries that are less reliant on global goods markets. As such, when there's an upswing globally, Germany typically performs well. So, while there may be a current modest increase in unemployment as companies reduce their hiring, Germany's furlough scheme and support for underemployment is expected to help mitigate major job losses. Moreover, Germany's financial situation is likely to remain more favourable compared to many other European nations, despite recent government spending related to the pandemic and the response to Russia's actions in Ukraine. So with all these facts, it becomes not a question of if Germany will rise from its economic issues, but when it will do so. Yes, it may appear that the government's finances are strained, especially when evaluated against the German debt brake, which aims for minimal fiscal deficits. However, when we examine the outlook for Germany's external debt compared to most other countries, we find that Germany is in better shape. And despite the challenges posed by the pandemic and the energy crisis, the country's public debt ratio as a percentage of GDP is smaller than in many countries, including the US and the UK. Alright, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also, share this video and press that post notification bell so you don't miss out on our future videos. We analyse the latest trending economic news, so watch out. And until next time, take care.